No, it's actually a lot.
No, that's which is not a problem. I don't know if you want to save any of it, but I'm saying we're gonna focus on Abyss 21,
Mhm.
and then I'm gonna unpublish that so I can put it on Patreon, and then we'll just continue our conversation. So
I was
let's
super
get it.
salty because I had notes, and then them bitches
イエーイ
disappeared.
お兄ちゃんピースピ
How
ー
do they
ス
disappear?
I
Thank
have
you for the
no
follow.
idea. Like the notes app on my phone, they just disappeared, and I was like,
Look at this guy.
I was okay at that point. I was like, I think I'm just gonna
Write
be
it on
done. I was like,
paper.
only
I write my notes on stick on what are those
it is
those
20.
square rectangular like sticky notes?
It is
That's where I write mine on.
2022. It is 2022. This is the wave of technology.
Later, and we're gonna be talking about Abyss. Shoot, 21, right? Yeah, 21. Man, I gotta tell y'all, I had me a blast with this chapter. I still don't know if I would argue that it's the best chapter in Abyss, but it was up there. But general thoughts on the chapter, boys. What do you guys think?
Loaded.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, it was I have no complaints. I think it's
I got
genuinely good.
me me and Glam got like a fake one, a fake. I got a fake complaint. It's a complaint, but it's not really one. But I got one.
Man, that shit real. But it don't matter because
Well,
Yeah, it's one of those things where like I'm not gonna blow a gasket over it and everything, but I'm not gonna lie to you. What what did you say? That she was cooking and she just turned the stove off? Yo, let that
Yes.
fight run a little longer. That fight was moving me.
fucking.
I try to see
Well,
some
you know
hands,
what?
baby.
She didn't even take the food off the fucking stovetop. She just turned the dial to 0. I was like, come on, man. What are we doing?
Yeah, you said she was cooking with gas and then just decided to turn it off, and I was like, honestly, I could have used a little more fighting. I could have. It's not a big deal. I know what series I'm reading. I know what's a fantasy romance. Don't blow a gasket over there. I get it.
I don't give a fuck.
But personally, I'm just saying, like, damn, I could get a little more hands. You could let it run one more chapter to one more. Damn it, damn it.
Was cooking, man. Just give me one chapter of hands and then do all this goated story shit. Fuck.
Yeah, but I do want to make it clear that, like, I know I say that sometimes. Like, I think that was a season 1 complaint that I had, that I thought that the characters were too strong to not be fighting and whatnot. Understand that I say that, and I mean it, but I don't really mean it. Like, I'm not as serious as I probably sound. I just would like a little bit of hands here and there. So what I'm gonna do is fly to Korea. I'm gonna meet Kurigam, and I'm gonna fix her. And the next time you see the tags for this, you're gonna see fantasy, action, romance. Okay, and then we got no issues.
Fucking talk to him.
But in all seriousness, what do you guys think about some of the story elements that were happening in the chapter aside from the fight in action? Because they did fight for a long time. I gotta make the joke because I thought it was really funny because like Maruna is literally like reminds me of a person who's playing a fighting game and can't remember the buttons. Like I used to be nice. Like how do I fucking do Hadoukens again? Like what the it's like he really trying to figure out mid fight like what am I doing? And his sister's like, wait a minute, you didn't. This is beyond like I'm new to this. This is your first time certifying in general. I thought that was honestly really funny. It was really good.
He was dead ass like, how do body work?
Yeah.
no, I think this was like I'm trying to remember the last. Like this was, I think this was like probably like the best blend of like action and comedy in a while. I think
Mm-hmm.
when you're actually getting a point of like actually good fighting. Because I think personally the funniest moment, and he's like, all right, I'm about to show some crazy. Come out wings. And she's like, is this a secret technique? Nothing comes out, and then Rand just beats the dog shit up.
Even the
Funny.
no like
That was funny, but me
Yeah,
and
go ahead.
Naya have one that we think was funnier. The both of
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
There's one moment where
Go ahead.
was when fucking I was touched. He just deadpans. He's got 4 kids,
He's got 4 of them.
bro. I was dying when I read that.
I gotta find that part. I honestly thought it was hilarious. Like, because I didn't see it coming, right? Because she's just like, oh my god, like I felt like so like it was like even though something was wrong with him, I can tell. Like I knew it. Like oh my god, he like totally protected me. Like look at him, and he's He has 4 kids. That's like, yo, hey, yo. But you know what? He's like, you're not. I'm not letting my sister be a stepmother to 4 kids. Hell no. Find someone else. Frame one. He said that shit. I said, that's big bro. I respect it.
He
I'm not
wasn't.
mad at it.
I don't even feel that way. Maruna to me, he was just like, this fucking bitch is trifling. That's the way it appeared to me.
Like
And he
like
was
low key. Like I just make the joke because people were saying to me, oh, he's cock blocking or whatever. I'm like, nah. would you let your sister be a stepmom to 4? They're like, exactly. Look at you. No, I would not. So
he's looking out for his mans as well. But it
yeah.
also speaks to
He's
how
probably like
goaded.
you don't want these problems either, bro. She's
Yeah,
she's a head case.
he's also probably. I mean, it speaks to how raw Ran is. He was literally like 3 seconds into knowing Kalavinka was already about to acquire her cheeks.
Yep,
Like,
Bill different. But okay, let's get into the story beats. Well, there's some other jokes that I really like too. Like there's the one where he's like, are these my wings? And then he just pulls out some like 2 twin cannons. He's like, oh shit. And the Rad's like, I gotta protect her now. Like, what's wrong with this guy? That was good. And then the part I think you mentioned it earlier. I think there's 2 instances where this happened. If not, I might be misremembering. But I like the part where he's like, all right, looks like I gotta do this. And then like Rand like chops like part of his legs because he doesn't realize how big he is. So he's like, damn it, doesn't get used to the size difference too. What I wanted to ask you guys is like jokes aside and things being funny aside, do you think that this makes sense though? Like I would have argued that
Yeah,
honestly, I was under the assumption that like there was like an innate ability to just use your Sora powers or Sora abilities. And not to say that I know that they train and some people have to learn transcendentals and whatnot, but I didn't think you would be this clumsy, so to speak, the first time you kind of go up in a stage. But I like that. That makes sense to me. What did you guys think?
I think it makes sense, and I
I'm
think this is already shown because I even like when we are talking about the end where he's like, I can't go back. At first, I was like, oh wow, but then like literally like when he first like before this and like before we did like the time stuff, like when he first comes off and he's chilling in outer space, Rand literally tells everybody he's like, Maruna physically can't come down here. He can't turn back. So we've been known this. I just low key
Oh,
forgot.
that's a good point because I guess because yes, it extends into that, but
Yeah,
so he still can't control it. But I guess at this point, I suppose, so he's got to just stay up there because he's huge. You saw like the scale,
yeah.
like at the very end when he's like, "All right, big brother, like you're kind of far, like come to human size," and he's like, I don't know how to turn back."
I mean, he knows how to turn back and forth, at least post Fati. I think
Yeah,
it might be that they got separated again, and Rand's just like Rand assumes that he can't do it anymore, some
Mhm.
shit like that. I hope not, but
I
uh,
think yeah, I took it as like him when he meets Samfati again, like in present day, when just that talking thing of whatever just helped him. Like I don't know if it's like you have to be like in like a good mental like state to do it or something. I don't know, but something with her definitely helped him out.
I think when they go up a stage, it might be this could be me rationalizing it, and this is also speaks to how one of my issues with transcendentals might just be it's easier for them to understand transcendentals in their human forms and adjust to their power levels in human forms. Like they can do that instantly. So reform takes like time because we've never seen what it's like for them for any Sura once they go into Sura form the first time after an upgrade.
Also, going into what you're saying, it could be so different because this is hampered in Nastica specifically for them to certify them certifying is actually classified as a transcendental. That's why the Taraka clan eyes actually when it's put on them they can't certify. And since the 5th stage acts similar to the like Nastica form where like they don't need vigor and it's passive, it could be along that same lines. I don't know if we have any in canon thing of a Taraka using on a 5th stage and they can't certify, but that could also be a thing where like it is like such a different transformation at that point from the others.
Okay. I just I guess because this is the first time we've really seen it to this degree. Because I guess the only other instance I could really think of seeing somebody transform was Utah, but Utah never really certified, right? So he just got horny He just became a teenager, I guess, or a young man, and he became horny. But I do like the idea that with the Zero form and human form and going up stages, you still got to get acclimated to the new things that your body is going to be able to do. Because I'm sure he still has his wings. It's a matter of how does he pull it out, and then getting used to this body. Go ahead, Glenn.
Has Yuta ever certified in
I
third
don't.
stage?
I don't. I
Yes,
don't.
when he
I
first
don't.
when he first went into it.
Yeah, that's what I was about. That's what I was thinking. I thought when he's fighting Maruna in third stage, I'm fairly certain that he certifies immediately. But I don't know if he does any skills. Like he's just like throwing hands, right?
Yeah, he's just doing hands.
Yeah, so
Kind of he gets
Maruna,
large.
Well, I didn't remember that.
yeah, Maruna could do the same thing then. Which he
That's like
kind of
it's the only time he certifies though. Like we
yeah,
haven't seen it in so long. He
yeah,
does
but like
that.
Maruna is capable of doing the same thing, and we see that here. Like he's trying to like actually do like special abilities that his Suriform grants him. Yuta never even considered doing that.
Mhm. I guess part of the thing that I was trying to discern is if I think that this is an outlier case where like Maruna is that bad. Because Cal and Vinca just a couple of comments made it seem like, but I think it's just because literally he just got the form and he just is the first time certifying. I do want to comment on the strength, the seeming strength discrepancy, because the truth of the matter is. The reason that I wasn't comfortable going out on the limb last week and telling you who I thought was definitively stronger is because I really did see them as pretty even, all things considered, right? One of his skills is
Hmm.
nullifying other skills. Wait, whose? Oh, Yuta's? Or are you talking about Maruna?
If you're
Got you.
talking about the like Taraka shit, that
The
like the
eyes,
eye
yeah,
stuff.
that's their
Yeah.
clan ability.
The eye,
So,
the eye is
because
like
and he's half. Okay, never mind. He's half Taraka, so he probably has access to that ability. But just before I forget that,
the eyes are like passive, so he could do that whenever. I don't think
mhm.
that's going to change for him.
But the eyes are just there. Like, is it if you look at it, or they just look, or their gaze is on you? I can't remember.
Gaze
Uh,
on.
Okay.
yeah, and but
So even if
Yuta's
I'm
is
not
special
looking
in the
at it and they're
sense.
looking at me, it's messing
Yes,
with me. Okay.
Yes.
and Yuta has like he can specify who he affects. Even like if he's like looking at three people, he can choose of those three if he wants to affect anybody or like one or two. Like because he's the king, so his is like super like uh pinpoint.
But I'm not sure if he even. I don't remember if he did do that in his Sura form or if that was a later thing or
I,
not.
I think that was later when he was inhuman.
Because he's been able to do that since he's been introduced in the story. He just doesn't do it all the time.
Yeah.
But I do think it makes sense for Maruna to be kind of definitively stronger than Ranier. That makes sense to me. I think it should kind of be that way, despite some of the Yaksha stuff, and Myrna's been privy to that because he read some of the stuff in that room. But the only reason that it seemed to be any type of even is because Myrna didn't know what he was doing. He doesn't know the buttons to this game, right?
I kind of
So
disagree with that.
I go ahead.
Well, maybe you know me. I'm a Yaksha fanboy. So
No,
I
go
want
ahead,
to
man.
speak for the Wolves.
What's your
I
perspective?
agree. So well, it's one of those weird things where Rand's power is gonna fluctuate a lot depending on his environment, even right.
I agree with that.
So I think if we're talking about like this, like no water or no sun, them being comparable, yeah, I think that makes sense. But if we're talking about if Rand's in like uh, in uh, idealistic environment, I think he should be. But even from what this chapter has been showing, if Maruna did know what he was doing, he would have actually just boxed Ran, which to me is crazy, personally. Because and this kind of goes into even like when I'm gonna want Maruna stuff, but like Maruna lost such a significant amount of power from losing his name. It's actually crazy.
I'm gonna
He
that's a point I want to bring up after the fact, but keep going. You brought it up.
yeah.
Go ahead.
He got the name Maruna, which seemingly isn't as powerful a name. It doesn't seem to be a special name, really. Like no one really talks about how good of a name it really is. He does have really good elements, and it works perfectly with the power of a god that he did get from uh Ushas. He did get her power, and now that's elevated him a lot to the point where, as a fifth stage, he is full on Nastica level. But like even that jump is a extremely powerful jump when you think about even as a fourth stage, he wasn't the strongest as a fourth stage. There are other fourth stages definitively stronger, So for him to even go to the stage of not just being way stronger than all the fifth stages, even just going to being comparable to Nastica's, that's impressive. But it seems even within the realm of Nastica's, he's damn near top tier, which is insane considering the fact he doesn't have his original name yet.
I fucking told you that was going to be the case, by the way.
But to me, that doesn't make sense. That's what I'm saying.
I told you he was going to be built different. You just didn't listen.
Because to be when he has the name Maruna, the way it made it seem is with the name Maruna alone, he would have been a lot stronger than Garuda already. He would have already been level of the king the moment he stepped to the stage. So to already be seemingly third-ish, fourth-ish level with the name Maruna and not even knowing your shit like that, that's kind of insane.
Yeah, bro. This is Prince of the Clan. The fuck we talking about?
Yeah, but I mean, there's other princes that are not sweet. Like,
yeah, but he's different because you want. There's an easy answer to this. He's the main character. These other fuckers aren't.
I mean, that's very true.
But and if you want like actual like standings of like I don't have any issue with the discrepancy of power in this environment leaning towards Maruna. I still think even if Ran had all of his shit, I think Ran would be upper tier Nastica level with all of his surroundings right and in the right mindset, which is something Miles didn't bring up for this. But I still think Maruna would be stronger. It'd be closer, but I'd still take Maruna. In this environment, I think it's no water, no light, and with the Vigor boys fucking him up, Maruna should box his ass out, like take him out easy, in my opinion.
Easy, I think, is absolutely crazy.
If he knew what he was doing.
Also, Maruna was in his fourth stage for a long ass time, which boosts his fifth stage power jump. Imagine Chess going to the fifth stage too. That'll be crazy.
That
Do
motherfucker
you
would be.
remember when Rand tried to kill Hanuman and used a wind transcendental? This was before those weird zombie things was blaming Hanuman for his mother's death, and then Rand was attacking wildly using the wind attribute, much like his fight against Maruna now. So Rand wasn't fighting in a controlled state and was only using the wind attribute. If you look up his previous fights, like against Anata and Kalavinka, he uses more light and water attributes, but not the wind attribute.
That is true.
That makes a lot of sense to me, but I feel like we're twisting when I'm like the question and what I'm saying. I just wanted to know if it made sense to you. It wasn't that. I wasn't trying to. I wasn't talking. I didn't say Rand was in his like. I still think you can make the case this is one of the best environments for Rand because he's not using up his lifespan. I agree
true.
he's not in water and yes, this, that, and the third, yada yada. But not only was he kind of in a position where he could kind of use his power freely, he also wanted to fight. Now you could talk about his mental state and the Vigor boys and whatever. We'll get to that in a second. I just a general question was it nonsensical to you? Because if you had asked me last week,
Nonsensical.
I was just gonna be. I just would have told you, yeah, it's pretty even. I don't know. I'll have to analyze it after the fact. But again, the my point of view is this battle demonstratively showed me that Maruna is just stronger than him, despite not having his real name. Because I'm gonna get to the Maruna part that I was thinking about in a second. And I think another testament to that is the powers that be inside him said, if you don't take this opportunity now when he's not used to his body, you're cooked goods. Like, and I was like, oh, really? It's like, it's like, I guess in my head, I would have thought it was truly that large. Don't it make sense? Because end of the day, he's still just a quarter, and that is the prince, as you said earlier, Glam. But go ahead. That's my first line.
No, I'm just saying, like, yeah, because I tried to answer the question like this, but I was like, I think this makes perfect sense. Like again, because of Rand has like 3 extenuating circumstances upon him, and Maruna has 1. Even if there were no extenuating circumstances on either of them, I still think Maruna would be stronger. I think the fight would be much harder, but I'd still take Maruna. Comfortably or not, I'd have to see. Vigor boys could also be lying to try and make Rand do what they want as well, in terms of like the gap between the two.
Yeah.
But is what it is there.
So what state of mind do you... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say how because I was just gonna say, because Rand has trained for 10 years with Yaksha. How comfortably do you think he's mastered his power? If you had to get give like a percentage.
80, 85. Sounds about right to me. I got no proof. What did Matt Walsh say? I got no evidence for this. It's just what I think.
It's satanic.
I'm still sure he was joking, but yeah, that's kind of my answer. I think all things considered, if you could get Rand in the perfect environment where he can use all of his abilities and he had the water around him and this and that and the third yada yada, he's still a little bit weaker than Maruna. But I'm gonna go with 85.
Okay. Because this does kind of go to what the one guy was saying. I think he has a very strong control of his water aspects that Yaksha gave him, because Yaksha's source attributes water. He's a water magician, and he's learned actual water transcendentals from him. So if you combine that with his water magic, I think when he's like talking about his water part, I think that's down packed. I think light should be pretty well done, but the Yaksha heart fused with his Hanuman genes. Like Hanuman's even like, oh, this feels weird. It seems like he's a kid of both of us. Where like the heart isn't just he isn't purely using Yaksha powers. There is Hanuman in it as when he's using wind attribute things
He
unknowingly.
said,
So I
"Access the
think that
programmer." Don't kill me. Sorry.
yeah, no.
Keep going. Keep going.
And so I think that
Keep him
wind
away from
part
this
or
series, please.
so I think that Hanuman part of Rand still needs to be like tweaked out quite a bit. Which could be possible because he just was with grandma, but we might see present day. But I think I'd probably say 75, 80. I think I would give him that.
Sorry, can you repeat that? Sorry.
I said I think I would give 75, 80. I think he needs to get that Hanuman part down.
Okay. I think that's fair. Who knows? Speaking of water, or maybe hydrate, the difference between in his Sura form might be Hanuman's power. Yeah, that makes well. You just said that, so that makes sense. But
Y'all think it's possible that I just had a random thought. Y'all think it's possible that Maruna still has access to latent force as a transcendental in fifth stage?
No,
is what? Sorry.
Latent force. The
he shouldn't.
Kaioken move that he used on Kasak and Voltara.
He shouldn't
I
because it's
don't think
specifically
so.
just absorbing power from your next stage, so he doesn't have a next stage to draw power from.
Yeah.
They could change it.
That's what I think. But
When he gets a Gnostic.
No, it's the
Six.
super legendary secret sixth stage that nobody else has gotten yet.
I've had the thought. I'm not gonna sit here and act like it's gonna happen for sure. But I'm like, is fifth the pinnacle? Like I definitely have thought that here and there. So fair enough, all things considered. Okay, what's the next thing I want to talk about? So we talked about the fight and we power scaled. Oh my god, Kubera power scaling, so exciting. Did you guys like the fight at all? Like the action?
Yeah.
It was good.
Only thing I didn't like about it was when the little balls appeared around Rand, and I'm like, what the fuck are these? And what are they doing? Other than that, I was like, yeah, this is. I told you earlier, and I had I think this was so far the best choreographed fight in the story up until this point.
Super Sora, God Super Sora.
Yeah. Just in terms of sheer like hands being thrown, Miles, I think it's the best. Like there's been other fights with Transcendental. All the kaiju fights are good, I would say. And I think Cossack versus Maruna and Cossack versus Taraka are better than this overall, but I think this has the best hand in terms of Sura. So
did you sorry, this is the one statement from the power scaling I want to add here. Just I don't think much of it, but he said I'm not used to my body's movements and going against him head on with brute force has no chance of winning. I have to widen the distance first and then compete using transcendentals. Was that him being like physically he might not be a match for Rand in this form, or that just like because he's not used to it, his best bet is to just get away and like spam like projectiles.
I don't think he's I think that is him admitting like physically like weaker, which I think is
Okay.
fine. Like
No,
Oh,
that doesn't mean that he would win or lose the fight.
yeah,
I'm just asking if you took that statement kind of like at direct face value.
Yeah, I did because
Okay.
there's no reason for Maruna to cap about that.
Okay. Well, what if he doesn't understand his own strength, physical strength in this form yet? I guess is the question that I had.
maybe.
Hmm.
And
Possible.
I mean, technically, because we saw Kalivinka, I think use some level of like not strengthening transcendentals, but like a fire kind of looking like Hoti Kubera. And Kalavinka and Maruna do have a lot of overlap in their transcendentals, except their unique ones. So he could probably pull some stuff out, but I still think Ram should, you know, outbox him.
Okay. Now let's get into Rand's state of mind. What do you got? What are we thinking? I like to ask this question every week because it's like, do you think that they've taken him over? They just kind of still influence some of the deeper desires that he has, some of the negative emotions that he's feeling. Is he not in control? What do we think today this week?
I think it's still the same. The heightened
Okay.
desire he already has. I
Damn.
like him be able to fight more against it.
Mhm.
And I'm not gonna lie, this moment made me be like, "Damn, I might have to kick Gen Harp out of the top 5 if this keeps going." I
Yeah,
was,
that's the right answer. Go ahead and
I was,
go ahead and keep thinking that.
I was like, if Rand keeps going along this path, boy, oh my god.
Boy. Yes, sir. You love to see it. That's the right answer. Good. Uh, so I kind of want to go through this because I thought it was really interesting, right? Because there's a specific line here I want you guys' opinion on how you interpreted it. Let me just find it real quick. So he basically said something like, "I damn it, you said that you wouldn't control me, right?" And they said we didn't. We only reflect our will to you. I believe them. I don't
Yeah.
think they took control of his body, right? And he said, at the end of the day, if your will is opposite, you just have to move actively against ours, just like you did just now. So in that moment, no matter what was happening and what his kind of state or frame of mind was, he did not want Maruna's attack to take out Kalavinka. So we shielded her, which means he acted against him. So do you think that there's a way for him to completely kind of subjugate this power to bend it to his will, and their will stop meaning anything, or do you think it's always going to be this weird kind of symbiotic relationship? There's a give and take.
I just I just thought of a really recent example of something I would think. I imagine it might be something like Soul and the little devil inside of him after the black blood gets put inside of him in Soul Eater.
Okay.
That's what I like. Where like there's always this temptation to use whatever buff they give, but at a certain point it becomes symbiotic with each other. Because you remember at the end where he could just use black blood and give it to Maka when he was playing the piano, and it would just become a buff. Like that's what I imagine it could be. It might be a way where he can get rid of the lifespan limit by using Vigor Boys whenever he wants.
That's
Potentially,
yeah.
he might
Yeah,
might even call it unique transcendental Vigor Boys. You never know.
There you go. What about you, Miles?
I think there's always gonna be the hard thing. Like, I don't know if subjugate's the right word. I think he has to like win them over because they're seemingly like a not hive mind, but like hive mind of like conscious beings.
But they
So
all
like
share
I
the
don't like
same will.
yeah. Like I think you could brute force your way through it, but like doing that every time is going to take a huge toll. Plus Rand at this point still has to worry about the pain of his heart because of the eye of perishment that's in him, and because he's about to leave the area like from that was weakening the pain,
Mhm.
that's going to be a lot harder for him to deal with the pain of that and the mental attack. So I think if he can't get that out, he's going to have to like learn to like somehow like communicate and like get on like the good like graces of these guys, which is going to be extremely hard considering what they are.
You never know. His ass could maybe use that Eye of Perishment to develop into another stage as a Sura.
That is also true because no one has ever seen something to this degree yet. It is very
Like,
possible.
I don't know how Yaksha's heart would work with that because that's technically a Nastika heart, so there shouldn't be any developmental stage. But if he functions more like a Rakshasa, it's possible. I'm not sure yet, though.
It could just like level his body up to like maybe like not like he's a half, but like at least gets like the extra vigor, like even lifespan of a half. That could just even help a little bit.
A half, I could imagine great meme potential from Rana off of that. Like,
Yeah,
he's always bitching about his lifespan.
yeah. So there's a lot of ways to go about it. I feel.
And him being a half would be peak irony, considering this man's phobia.
Well, the phobia is gone now.
I don't know about that one.
I would argue that I agree, but we have yet to literally see that be the case, though. So
No, we
I
did.
wouldn't jump the gun, right?
No,
When he came back from
and
the
or
go ahead, go ahead.
when he came back, when he came back, I forget who he was talking or who he was with, and this is why Brilith was super on like this isn't fucking Rand because he was like, oh, is your half phobia gone now, Rand? Because remember, Rand was with Lenny when he was taking the kids away. And Brilith's like, this isn't Rand. This is a Rakshaka superior, sure, pretending or he's possessed or whatever. Because he's like, how is your half phobia gone? And Rand just doesn't say anything, and that's when Rand attacks her.
Well, but that's kind of my point. Where like I still think that's more implicit than it is explicit. Because what if the bigger boys are like there could be a couple of reasons for why he's acting the way that he's acting, and he's not
That's fair.
caving into the fear. That was kind of my point. I don't disagree with what you're saying. I just mean that if somebody didn't want to jump the gun yet, I would understand why.
Yeah, that's fair. No, that's fair. That makes sense.
Okay, me.
Reflect to you, just so we do the honor body is yours. You show us a will opposing ours, and we have to chop the back off. It's like I uphold you guys since before. My actions and words are different from my thoughts. Like, nope, they're not different. If your feelings were different this much, and your feelings that will resonate are also this much, blah, 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 blah. And attacking the Suras must be killed. And they kind of show some flashback of that's happening, but I really like what happens next, where it looks like he's like, you're just a lump of meat, nothing more. So let's fight him. Like, yeah, let's go. And then having a base you can rely on, even in a world of intense emotions, is something only possible for living beings who have walked the right path. And then he says, "Are you lost again?"
My God.
And we see Yaksha in his inner world, whatever it is you want to call it. I thought this was beautiful. This was a good moment. I didn't see this coming, but this made a lot of sense for this part to happen. It's like it just ties into so many things that I find that I appreciate a lot about this series. And low key, it's added a variable to a video that I want to make. I think I'm just gonna put it down and slap a spoiler tag on it because I'm adding this to the video. Even though this is like the latest chapter. But what do you guys think about this part of Rand kind of just wrestling with the thoughts of bigger boys and everything, and then he actually coming, and then him able to kind of like snap out of it?
From a thematic standpoint, if I want to be really fucking Twitter theme head ass right now,
we don't care about Twitter. They're not real right now.
This is kind of Yaksha being able to see Ren again before he dies, in a way. If you take it as like a literal thing instead of just Ren like seeing something. But I thought the moment was amazing. To be honest, like Yaksha and Ananta were like, I was thinking about Ananta more and like, been like, man, he might be better than Yaksha for me. After this, I was like, nah, Yaksha. I got Yaksha over to Ananta still after this. But so this was good for Yaksha. This was great for Ren. Like, again, however Kurigam rounds out his whole plot line after this time travel arc, Rand could be something real special, man. Like he already is, but it could just be like even more so after all this. And this just more on top of that, more substance to draw from. I think this is all really good because it does a lot of different things.
Yep. This was wait, Miles, I don't know if you answer. What are your thoughts on this one?
Uh, you know me. I saw Yaksha. I had to. Biggest smile popped on my face. That's the goat. That's especially on this re-rate. Like I think there was also a point when I first saw Yaksha. I liked him so much. I was like, dang, I really wish Rand was like he was Rand's grandfather, not Hanuman. But no, now I actually really appreciate his role, and I'm glad he's not. And I actually like the role Hanuman does play as his grandmother now. But
That's
I
it.
really I really like it. Like I think to me what I like about Rand is like Rand has set these seeds for all these relationships, right? Rana, Yaksha, Maruna, all these things. And whenever like shit gets tough with Rand, the people that he's already done his best to help out earlier always comes to help him when he needs it. And
Mhm.
it's always when like he's trying to reconcile with something. And I think there's a lot of good full circles with that. Like how he helped Rand as a kid unknowingly and what she did so much for him during the cataclysm like
Mhm.
small things like that I think really help Rand because Rand Glam, you kind of said it like even last week or like how Rand's kind of like the type of person you put in any interaction how he's good he's kind of just like that like sponge he's gonna work well and I think his relationships are some of the most fulfilling I think.
Naya. What I just thought of was when Rand saw Yaksha again. If, I thought of Hey yelling at Wushan, "She what?" So again,
Sheep.
I
Yeah.
was like, oh, I would have fucking lost it. Some shit like that would happen.
No, that your point's well taken. Like, I mean, I'll be. I mean, I still like Ananta over Yaksha, but Yaksha is a great character, and I thought that. I think your point about like the friends and the people along the way that he's constantly helping out, looking out for Bonjour Mon Coeur, and doing his best to like like in Leeds is sad, and he's like, yeah, Yaksha, what's good with you? Like, I do think a lot of those things come back to help him in the end, which is why I believe that Yaksha said what he said to him about being on a not righteous path, but on the right path, where he always has like a kind of like a base that he can draw upon and go to, and I think that
Mm-hmm.
I could be putting a lot more importance on that line than I should, but that line seems significant to me. Him talking about a right path. I think that's gonna come full circle later on. Honestly, I think
I
that
agree.
for whatever reason, whatever trajectory that Iran is on, is good, and I think it'll rear its head in some meaningful fashion. So yeah, yeah.
Also
Hmm.
I want to say Rand's a really good rationalizer like it's not like OD or like whatever but like he's like no, this shit actually just like doesn't really make sense. Like I don't. It's not like I have like a lot of evidence for things, but he's just like, nah, Maruna did this. It wouldn't make sense if he hated humans that he wouldn't do this. Like
Hmm.
it's like simple rationing, but I feel like you don't get that so much that it's just nice to see.
Yeah, he's got 4 kids.
He does have 4 kids.
I thought it was. I actually thought
Man,
it was 3. When they said 4,
he's
like
44.
thought he was. I thought he had. I thought he had 3. But
Remember, he has the baby.
no, no,
The
no, no, no.
fourth,
No,
the
like
fourth,
like
yeah,
like like as soon as I read it, I remembered the last one. It was just funny to me because the whole time I would have thought he had 3. Yeah,
the youngest
Yaksha
one,
was great.
really
I
in the
think
story.
Iran lost half phobia naturally, but attacking Brilith was under influence. I think that makes sense. The Vigor Boys is still a wild last name. I think that's the thesis of the series, that the universe is awful, but the fact that people like Ran exist and Lee's and that make it worth it and is still worth it. That's nice of you. That's a very nice thing to say. The world and universe are unforgiving, though.
Especially in this universe, it's extremely
I wouldn't be a good person.
unforgiving. Oh
I
my
know I'd be a
goodness.
silent musician or something. I'd be emotionless. I'd be like, listen, I gotta protect my place, and everything else doesn't matter. But anyways, the reason is Maruna here to get to my favorite part. Obviously, like what? And she's like, I didn't. What does that have to do with this? As a friend, and Rand's already asleep, and he goes, all right then. then he's like,
I,
anyways, it's hard to talk to you. It's like I can't turn back, and I just started laughing. I knew he couldn't turn back. That was kind of funny, but yeah, this was a good chapter, man. Go ahead.
I fucking
Here-
love this is like a comedy style I like in Eastern like visual stories.
Mhm,
Whenever they do this sort of box like face, big eyes, no mouth,
mhm,
that shit is always fucking hilarious to me. I see
mhm.
it in so many. I think originally I saw it in Kenshin, which is probably why I like it so much because
Oro?
Kenshin's comedy. The shit, yeah, you know exactly what faces I'm talking about, Maya.
Oh, yeah.
But they do this shit all the time. It hits every time I see it.
Maruda's expressions in season 3 overall still are probably the funniest.
Yeah, he's become
What's the
so
moment when
expressive and vibrant. I love it.
what's the moment when he's 59 and he's at the table with his like hands over his face? He's like, "What the fuck am I doing here?" There's
No,
just so many good moments.
the snowflake apple again as an adult. And he's like, "This shit's golden."
That's
That's
great.
my god.
I want to talk about this
Uh,
one comment here real quick. Eternal Boy, there were
okay.
some people who were sad wishing Yaksha to appear in his adult form here, but this is Rand's mind. It's a scene of Rand with the Yaksha who he remembers, so it can't be helped. That made sense to me.
Yeah.
Like that's not to me like that's not problematic. He's never seen like the adultish, foolish Yaksha. The version that he knows and he saw looked the way that it looked, and that's the way that he's going to remember him. And I don't think there's any issue with that. Go ahead.
Uh, what the fuck was I gonna say? Uh, oh yeah, I was gonna say this is about Calavinka. A lot of this. Uh, this kind of goes just like a little bit of power scaling. But Calavinka's stronger than Maruna. When Maruna's in fourth stage, Calavinka's actually stronger than his Sura form in human form, right? Do you think that's kind of crazy?
I guess my answer really has to do with how strong you probably thought he would have been naturally if he never lost his original name. So I want to say
Mm-hmm.
no because none of them. I guess it makes sense to me for none of the siblings to be weak because Yuta's not weak, Maruna's not weak, so I don't see why Calavinka would kind of break that mold. I guess I'm okay with it.
Utah's OD. Like he's
Yeah.
fucking. He's the strength of like. I think they said like in third stage he's just as strong as fifth stages are.
Mhm.
I think.
No, he's OD.
Uh,
My point is like I guess it's not that it's
if
not
he seals
weird
him.
for me. It's not weird for me for it to be that strong. And again, I do think that Maruna not having his original name is actually like ever since that stuff we saw when he went back in time, we saw little baby Aruna with the snowflake apple and Anata gave him his soul after he fucking got hit by lightning or whatever. We saw Ushas and stuff, and we talked about like the Crimson Sunshine of Dawn, Bliss Tactic, X, Y, and Z, yada yada yada. I actually think the amount of power that Maruna lost is quite significant.
Oh, I
I
think
think they did the best they
it's
could
like
do to
insane.
mitigate the amount of strength he would lose overall, but how much he lost is rather vast. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah. No, you're completely right because they even said that when Usha gives him the power, they're like, yeah, this is like it's kind of like this is a good start, but like we're still missing like half of it. But like, because I think with Calavinka for me, like you're right. Yuta is OD, but it makes sense because of what his mom and dad are, right? Maruna basically has like the most optimal level of like attributes with the OG perfect name with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious with Calavinko, who shares the same attributes as her brother, but isn't looked at as anyways like the Dawn type person, doesn't have the name. I'm curious as to what this it factor is with her, because we know she does have an important name because all three of them hit their real names from each other,
Mm-hmm.
and then two, all everyone every one of Maruna's siblings were killed for Maruna. Yuta not dying makes sense because of Callie. So does Calavinga have that would let them still keep her alive?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm curious about.
Mm-hmm. It's hard for me to say. I don't know, but I'll keep that in mind. That's a good question to think about. What is her element? It's light and fire, right? Does it make
Yeah,
her
it's
aggressive
the
or
exact same as
stronger?
Maruna's.
No, from what I understand, her belligerence is like it's something different that she got it. Like, I don't remember exactly why she's belligerent, but um,
I
I don't
think
think
it's just
it's
like
I
her
don't think it's her.
shirt,
I
like
don't think
because of her shirt trait.
yeah. No. I
The
don't
fact that she's
remember it.
actually wild. Like her being like, "Oh, well, you're a Sura form. I can just whoop your ass in human form against another 4 stage." Is crazy.
You think maybe it's her spending some time with Vishnu? There could be something we don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Mm.
Possibly.
I feel like at a certain point, Maruna
Yeah.
is going to somehow outstrip both of his siblings whilst not having his OG name. Personally,
Really, I think he needs a name for that for him to be stronger than his brother. But
Oh,
I like that though.
yeah. I don't know if he's rocking with Yuta like that because Yuta's different.
Yeah.
Yuta was going stage 4, rocking the
I
entire
think
Shura realms.
I
In
think that it
season
would.
3, episode 104, when Ryan says there's someone faster than Chess, he might be referring to Calavinka. I'll take a gander. Why not? Why not?
Um, I think Miles. I think it's weird. I think Yuta. I think if Yuta like can master his own hunger, I think he'll surpass both Calavinka and this alleged Maruna I just thought of. If not, then I think Maruna.
Mhm.
I got to step in as older brother and I got to handle it. That's what I think it's going to be.
But this is something. But this is an important thing we have to recognize. We still have yet to see Yuta's 4th attribute. He has 4, which no one else has.
It's going to be Earth. Calling it right now.
It should be destruction.
No, I'm saying I'm going to call it Earth just for Lee's connection. That's what I'm calling it for.
Well, he got it from his mother, who, Callie, who has Taraka's name. So it should be destruction. Like, yeah, it should be, because it should be light and chaos, fire and destruction. I believe.
Is there something
Am I doing that right
serious
in my
going
head?
on? Why did you come pick us up at this time of night? I'm not sure, but it is. But if you were in a hurry, it would have been faster to ask Chess.
Okay.
I don't know if you know, but Chess is a really fast runner. It's okay. There's someone faster than Chess. Let's go further on. We're
I
still
didn't
in the
think.
city.
Oh,
Okay.
I didn't think he was talking about Calavinka. I thought he was talking about Kubera there.
Oh.
Well, I thought that was not
What if that went himself?
hilarious.
He said that bozo, I'll blitz him. I'll
I
smoke
mean,
him in a race.
he basically did later.
I'll smoke him in a race. All right. Well, we'll see what. But this was a good chapter. Honestly, it was really good. Like I unfortunately was spoiled on how many more chapters of Abyss are left. So I know we're almost done. But please keep in mind, I don't like that shit. I don't care if you know it's gonna end in like 3 weeks. Don't tell me. Just let me find out naturally. I'm not gonna blow a gasket for this one. It's fine. But I didn't ask. I didn't ask when Abyss was ending. So don't tell me. Thank you very much. Shout out to the Patreon gang. Shout out to my certified BAM lovers. I appreciate y'all. Gotta show love to the Priests of Fire. You already know what's brilliant, gang, over here. But I gotta give a huge thanks to my tier 3 subscribers, the 5th Zen Gods. Shout out to Zodiac, Sunny Katapali, Simi, Scobe, Revenant, Lucky Roo, Lazy Dragon, Chris, Johnny Rogers, Irene Sharda, Triss, David Langstaff, Childish Nujabes, AJ, and my boy Big Abdel. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you.